Welcome to Everything with Emilie, where we talk about just about anything, whether that be pop culture, people's interests, or just generally what they've been up to. Today I have a very special guest, Josie Novo. Welcome, Josie.
Thanks, Emilie. I'm super excited to be here.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do professionally. I know you're even though we're the same age, you're 21, you're very big professionally and into the Miami politics and everything.
Thanks. No, I wouldn't say I'm like really big or anything, but I do very much enjoy politics. I started pretty much as soon as I graduated high school at 18, and I got involved. I'm the legislative chair of the Miami-Dade County Commission for Women. I've been a member of the Republican Executive Committee representing my district, and I'm just a civically engaged citizen above anything else. Just somebody who cares about this community and wants to get things done and do some good. Besides that, I go to law school. I go to FIU Law. I actually started 3 weeks ago. This is my third week of law school. And besides that, I just care about the community. I care about my family, and I just want to do some good and be active.
And were you kind of always like knowledgeable about politics? I feel like because I just recently turned 21 and all of the elections have been at a recent time, like before I was 18, I kind of didn't really know too much about local politics. So like, how did you get into that?
So my parents were business owners.
Okay.
We had stores in communication, and we were also involved in real estate. And so when you're a business owner, you're always a bit more politically inclined.
Of course.
Because of the fact that you have to pay attention to things like taxes and tariffs and what's the state of the economy and how you move and how you invest and do things. So politics was always a conversation in my family since I was very young. I grew up mainly around adults, and I was saying this to Karina before we started, I grew up more around adults than I did kids. Probably for the first probably for the first 7 or 8 years of my life, I was just in my parents' stores. I grew up there. I learned how to read and write, trying to process customers' payments, and I learned how to.
You were that kid.
Yeah, and I learned how to count, giving them change of money. And my parents were not the type of people that put me off to the side or that gave me over to a nanny.
Yeah.
I was in the stores with them, so we would have meetings with like executives from the company and stuff like that, and they would bring me as a little kid into the meeting.
That's funny.
My dad really used to like to tell a story that when my mom was pregnant with me, there was a big meeting with like all the regional directors and stuff, because we were franchisees of Metro PCS stores. So every now and so often you would have meetings like that, and my mom was pregnant with me. And so one of the regional directors, he puts her to like the end of the table next to the dessert cart, and he's like, "Here you go, Stephanie, you sit
That's
right
so
here."
Funny.
So I've literally been sitting in on these meetings since I was in the room. And
Wow.
my dad was super politically active, not active, but minded. My family is from Cuba. We went through a lot. My family is part of that exile community. I have political prisoners in my family. I have people that started it at over 100%, people that own businesses, that were professionals and had to come here and work in factories. So being from that background, having that business mindset, that struggle with coming from a country that had its democracy stolen from them, politics was always at the forefront. When I was young, it was very much national politics.
Yeah.
I think the earliest presidential campaign that I could remember in like detail was Obama versus Romney.
Yeah.
And that was like, I was very little then, but I remember it so well because it was so polarizing at the time. And as I grew up, I grew more of an interest in like the law and how things get done and doing things through the law. And then eventually I got to the point where I wanted to shape the law and I wanted to make an impact. And that's when I started to grow more of an interest in local politics. So I would say around high school, I developed more of an interest in the localness of it all. And there's a lot of beauty in local politics. People often overlook it because it's not as big and flashy as like war in Israel or huge or immigration or property taxes or things like that. Well, property taxes are local, but or just the major things, So, but local politics is what affects our day-to-day lives, like your property taxes, your garbage, your sewer, what your streets look like, the safety of where you live. All those things are in relation to your local government. And so the meat and potatoes of your daily life is really there, and I've come to find a lot of beauty in that.
I know. I feel like that's so interesting because I've never really known too much about it, but working here, just in the month and a half that I've been working here, I've learned so much about like local politics. It's insane. Like I didn't even know the way like all the structures work, but now I do. Like again, like I always kind of thought main picture like politics, the whole country, the whole world. My family's also Cuban, so it's very similar. Like politics are like involved in my life heavily, but like not the main source. So it's kind of different, but like I guess my family is more like, okay, like that aside, we're focusing on our like personal careers, like so it's kind of different, but I see it.
But it's still there. There's still a lot of passion, and I'm sure you've had many a conversation about about the government and what's going on, and you're definitely in like the best place to learn.
No, of course.
Just a couple weeks ago, you guys interviewed Rob Gonzalez. I've seen you interview all manner of business owners and politicians, and people really don't understand how their local government works.
Yeah.
And so I think we need a lot more like civic engagement on that front, because again, it's what affects you the most.
No, of course.
So people should know. Most people don't know who their county commissioner is, much less who the mayor of their municipality or who's on their municipal council. Big words.
Like I just learned the other day that the mayor, I live in South Miami, which is like, we're in South Miami right now, but my mayor literally lives in the same neighborhood as I do, and I didn't even know that.
Look at that. You can literally knock on your neighbor's door.
Hey, I kind of don't like this. Please fix this. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, there's a pothole. Can you?
No, but there actually is very big potholes. Whatever. That's not the issue.
Well, you heard it first. City of South Miami. Fix those potholes.
No. He should know it's in his own backyard. Like, okay. But no. But so did you so you always wanted to have a career in this? Or it's kind of like second nature to you?
So my first nature and my first love is business and small businesses, and I don't think I'll ever abandon that.
Of course.
I love the independence of it. I love running a business. My undergraduate degree is business administration.
Oh, cool.
And so I very much love manning those types of things. I love being in charge of large projects and ventures, and my family is still involved, so I do help them, and that's our family business. And then I kind of went diversifying my interests. Like people think that you have to be pigeonholed into one thing all the time. We're multifaceted as human beings. We have the capacity to be talented in all these different ways and to be interested in all these different things. Like you probably have a million and one interests.
That's literally why I have this show, because people don't get to talk about their interests enough. Like I brought you on originally, like in general, knowing you have an interest in politics, but I want to talk about everything else you're interested in too. Like I'm sure when you meet people, they're always like, okay, politics first, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But you never got to talk about like other fun stuff. That's why I want to give people like kind of a space to talk about the important things and like their main things on the day to day, what they do, but also like what they do for fun, like what new things they want to try, anything new they've been up to. Like that's the whole point.
No, and like, when you're young, people want to pigeonhole you a lot. They're like, what do you want to do? What are you studying? Okay, so that's what you want to do. You're doing this, or you're going to do that. And that's it for the rest of your life. Like, no.
You could always change.
You can develop so many skills. Hobbies can turn into careers.
Of course.
I mean, what you do here, say you were studying accounting, right? You could open up your own accounting firm and you love production, and you could start your own production podcast on accounting and finances and stuff like that. Like your interests don't limit your scope. And so I love business, and that gets thrown to the side a lot because of the politics. I love the law. I love actual legal studies. And it's what's getting me through all the law school reading.
I see you. You're actually like excited to learn about law. Rare.
Yes. No, it's fun. It's fun. Trust me, you'd be entertained by some of these cases too.
No, I'm sure. I used to work at a law firm, a family law firm. Obviously, I can't talk about anything, but the amount of like chisme I'd hear every single day at the office was actually insane. Like,
I love that.
Like, there's times where we had to like close the door, like not let someone in. Like people would be fighting in the parking lot. Family law is crazy.
Family law is an intense practice because you're dealing a lot of times with divorces and with custody.
And the kids. It was really
sensitive.
sad.
It's sensitive. But there's a lot of beauty in law. And I mean, imagine being the attorney that advocates for a worthy parent to have custody of their kids.
No, it's great.
Or for the single mom to have her due rights, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of beauty and advocacy in that. And I think I kind of found my path to advocacy in there because of my brother. My little brother is disabled. I mentioned it on the last podcast I did with you guys.
I kind of heard that.
Thank you. So he was born when I was almost 9 years old. And around a year later is when he got diagnosed. And so as we kind of went on that journey, I found myself wanting to advocate for him. Of course. And I found myself very drawn to that aspect of the law. And I said, I want to make the world a better place for him. And that's what took me there originally. And there's so much that you can do in the law. And
of course.
And just even in cases, right? Like our legal system is one that is decided upon legal codes and statutes, but also precedent. So what a court decides influences a future court's decision.
Yeah.
If today a Florida court decides that a certain type of case is going to be decided a particular way for this person with a disability, that could then affect all the other kids and individuals that come later.
Because they go back and they reference other cases, correct? Yeah.
Yes. So that's the way that the legal system stays consistent. Because otherwise,
that's not fair.
It's not fair. You have if without having a consistent legal system, you have an inherently unfair justice system. And so that creates problems when you're trying to establish a country with liberty, with democracy, with all the rights that we hold dear and cherish every day. So you need to make sure, it's called stare decisis. It's the precedent principle. So without that, you really can't have a fair system at all. And of course, you know, people might have their problems with the justice system and all that type of thing, and there's always room for improvement.
Yeah.
But we have probably one of the most just justice systems in the world because we have that precedent principle.
Of course. That's honestly, I didn't really know that. That's great to know now. So I know you just started law school, but you also graduated like pretty early from FIU, correct?
Yeah.
In your undergrad?
I started, well, let me rephrase that. I graduated high school in 2022. So that's May 2022.
Yeah.
And I graduated with my bachelor's degree from FIU in December of 2024.
Awesome.
And so this August, I started law school. So it's August 2025.
Yeah.
I finished my undergraduate degree in basically 2 years.
Awesome.
Yeah. I took a bunch of AP classes and stuff like that. And it was a priority for me to finish school.
So you wanted
early.
to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it was very intentional on my part.
Gotcha.
I mapped it out. I looked at what route was best for me, what exams I should take, what classes I should take, how I should. I was very intentional about the classes I chose in college.
Of course.
Because it's very easy. There's a lot of like really cool classes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of silly ones too. I took a class my very first semester called History of the Beatles.
Oh my God, yeah, I've heard of that class.
And it was a fun class, but ultimately, if it wouldn't have gone towards my elective credit, it would have been surplus. And so I was very intentional about how I planned that out and strategic because I like to work. I am a workhorse. I like to be in the real world. I think that's because of the business side of me.
Yeah.
You hear entrepreneurs say it all the time, like school's worthless, do this, do that, get out there. And it's not to say that school is worthless.
No, of course.
But there is a lot of value in actually getting out there and having initiative. And there's so much that you can do without it. Right, if you have the mind and the chutzpah, as some might put it. So I very intentionally said, okay, if I am to take the full route of the legal career, that's 7 years. It's 4 years undergraduate, 3 years law school. I'm not going to spend a decade in school. It's almost a decade. So I'm going to essentially speed run my classes. And get through this as quickly as I can so that I can get into the real world and make an actual difference and not be limited by school and homework and tests. And I think that for me, that path has worked out. There's a lot of people that really enjoy school and they enjoy academia and they enjoy the social aspect of it. And I say to each their own. That's why you're Emilie and I'm Josie, right? Because what I need and what fulfills me in life is different than what you need and what fulfills you and what's best for your personal development. And so everyone kind of needs to stay true to themselves in that. Just because I speed ran doesn't mean somebody else has to, or you know, just because I enjoy working doesn't mean that you have to feel guilty for enjoying the social aspects of college.
No, of course. I feel like that's such like a interesting and refreshing like take on that. I graduated a year early, so I graduated in 3 years, but it was honestly completely by accident. Like I kind of was just doing like AP and dual enrollment, like to do it and to get credits, but not really like with any crazy intention behind it. And it kind of just happened, and now I'm like, okay, wow, like I graduated, now I'm like in the real world, just getting experience here, and it's honestly awesome. Like I do see my friends like enjoying their last year, and I'm like, oh man, I'm a little sad, but it's also like, wait, like I'm getting my experience, I'm getting like the one up in like my professional life, which is never a bad thing. So
small sacrifice for a long-term reward. That's how I always put it. I would rather do that now and do all this type of thing now and enjoy the fruits of my labor later than have to wait or be put off and then have some stint in my personal development or my professional development. And ultimately, that's what friends are for, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can tag along to all the fun stuff.
Exactly.
You get to still go to the FIU games. You went to FIU.
Yeah.
Okay,
I literally just graduated in like fall 2025.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, no, spring 2025.
Yeah, so you still get to go to everything with them. And that's what they're for. The friends will bring you along. And so, you know, you don't have to necessarily sacrifice all the fun things because you do a certain thing. It's just how life works out. And people forget, like AP classes and IB and all that type of thing, and dual enrollment, they're meant, the end game is not, oh, let me get into a fancy college, although it definitely helps. The end game is I'm getting college credit, and so I have one less thing on my plate when I go to college. That's the objective of those classes. That's why you take an AP exam at the end. If you take an AP class, as you know, and you fail the exam, you don't get college credit. So it's almost like you did it for nothing. Yeah,
it's kind of like you get what you put into it.
Exactly.
But I guess that kind of brings me to my next point. I know we're both 21, but we're also like young professionals. Do you kind of feel like, how do you feel being like surrounded by all these older people and like just being this age that like is known as like a party age? Like, do you feel like you're missing out on anything, or like you're treated differently or anything? Like, I just kind of wonder like your take on being like a young professional.
So I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I have met people who have that feeling. But I think it just is kind of rooted in like what my priorities have always been versus what other people value. And again, it's what I said, what's right for me might not be right for you. And we might both be wildly successful when we're older. So it's all super different. I have always been a workhorse. I've always liked business. Growing up around adults, I think gave me an old soul. So I feel absolutely no problems being around older people. In fact, I enjoy it very much because I get to have conversations that I wouldn't typically get to have.
Of course.
And when you're with older professionals that are willing to share their knowledge with you, it's such a beautiful thing to be able to glean from someone and to hear their stories and to hear their expertise. Even people like Michael here at community newspapers. I mean, you've seen all the memorabilia they have out there. That's halls and halls of history. And so there's so much wisdom to be learned from them that I feel so satisfied in the pursuit of a career, in the pursuit of higher knowledge, in the pursuit of furthering myself, that for me, partying has never really been a priority.
Of course.
What I do find challenging is the assumption that you are a partier by default because of your age.
That is true.
Yeah, and you'll find that a lot of older people will often project. But let's not forget that they were once young too. And they were once in our shoes too, and they were once the young professionals. And so people often forget that just because you're young doesn't mean you're not a professional. Just because you're young doesn't mean you can't make a difference. Just because you're young doesn't mean that you don't work hard.
Of course.
And just because you're young doesn't mean you're smart. So all of those things can be true at the same time. And so the biggest obstacle I find for people our age is almost that imposter syndrome. And feeling like, oh, like I'm just some kid, like I can't do any of this. Yes, you can. I started in politics with no political connections. And I've been able to make so much progress and to do so many cool things and to get out in the community and help people, whether if it's food drives or disability fairs or initiatives on boards. You know, I've been able to grow up to this point. And if I did it without any political uncle or something like that to push me along the way, then so can anybody else. We all come into this life with a set of challenges.
Of course.
But ultimately, we live in a country that affords us so many opportunities that if you're willing to get out there and to get over the imposter syndrome and work hard and tell yourself, no, I am smart. No, I work hard. No, they're wrong when they say I'm 21 and I'm just a silly child and I can't do this. No, I'm going to do whatever I want and I'm going to be successful and it's going to happen. Then you will succeed. It's that simple. And then as for the other stuff that you mentioned, it's, you know, if that's a priority for you, work-life balance. For me, scheduling is super helpful.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what's your work-life balance like?
I work a lot.
If you have one.
I will say I work a lot, but I do spend a lot of time with my family. I dedicate a lot of time to helping my mom out with the business and with my siblings, and I enjoy being with them. I am fortunate enough that I have a wonderful relationship with my mom. She's my best friend. And my siblings are great, and I love my grandmother as well. And it's just our little nucleus, right? And we do fabulously together, and I have a good set of friends that I've known for years, and they're wonderful support too. So for me, I don't need to go out a lot. Like, I'm not the type of person that needs to go out a lot.
Me neither.
But every now and so often, like grabbing dinner with your friends, every now and so often going to the gym. Let me tell you, like, I put off the gym for a while, when I started law school, and I got to go back the other day, and I'm trying to make it a regular thing in my routine again.
Yeah.
And just doing that 45 minutes on the treadmill will make you feel so good. And it's
it
the
just
simple
makes that
things.
much of a difference. Like, and you think about it like full picture, you're like, it's literally just 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour of my day. Like, why would I not take that time to like work on myself?
Exactly. And you don't have to go crazy. You don't need to go.
You don't need to be a
space.
bodybuilder. Like,
Yeah. You don't need to go to the Las Vegas bodybuilding competitions. What's the guy? You know who I'm talking about? G something.
I don't think I do know.
So he's a very big bodybuilder influencer on Instagram, and I was gonna compare it, but you don't have to be like the bodybuilding influencers on Instagram. You don't have to go crazy, doing an insane like back and bicep split.
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah, I've been going recently, and I'm like, I don't really know what I'm doing, but as long as I'm going, I'm gonna feel good about it. Yeah.
And you don't have to go crazy going to clubs. You don't need to hang out every weekend, but just enough so that you have a moment to like reconnect with yourself and your sanity. And just whether that's by yourself or with people, just kind of finding the time. If you find yourself bored and you have nothing to do, and you're like, oh wait, like what do I have to do? You go, okay, well let me go to the gym.
Yeah.
Oh wait, let me go wash my hair.
Let me read a book. Let me wash my face.
Let me clean my room.
Yeah, like let me do something productive with my life. Let me read a book, draw, like get into a hobby, anything really.
I love photography. I'll tell you one time, I right before I started my undergrad, I said to myself, I really love Vizcaya. I love Vizcaya.
Oh, Vizcaya is so pretty.
I love that sort of classic architecture, and I love Art Deco architecture. So I actually did my quince pictures at the Biltmore, not Vizcaya.
Awesome.
But one day I was like, I love the Biltmore. I mean, not the Biltmore, I'm sorry, Vizcaya. It's so pretty.
Yeah.
And I love photography. Photography and videography and all that type of thing is a second hobby of mine and a second passion. I think one of the first things I asked you when I met you was, what editor are you
what
using?
editing program am I using?
So I told my mom, I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this Saturday and I'm going to get my camera and I'm going to run around Vizcaya and take pictures. Not of myself, but of Vizcaya. And that is such a cathartic thing for me. And it's something as simple as that.
No, yeah. It really like, as much as like I know work is like a big thing in your life and you really enjoy it, I feel like everyone needs to have some other little things that they live for, like make them happy every day. Like
I like, again, cameras, videography, editing, even if it's just editing old photos in my camera roll, I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love, this is going to sound really old, I love making scrapbooks.
Oh my God, yes. Have you ever, I remember for the new year, my friend and I made like little vision boards, but it was basically like a little scrapbook.
Cute.
It was so cute and fun.
I love that. No, I actually have like physical scrapbooks.
I always wanted to do that.
I have a big one that I made that I'm really proud of, that it had like, I even put like glued flowers on the front, and
cute.
It's really pretty. But I took a bunch of old pictures that my abuela had, the very few pictures that we had from Cuba. I took old pictures of my mom when she was young, and I took a bunch of photos that were important to me and from travels and stuff. I labeled them all on the back with like names and dates and everything involved. And then on the cover, when you open it up, I have a genealogy of the whole family.
Oh, that's
as far back as I could go. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make these and I'm gonna hand these down to my kids and their grandkids, and that way we keep the memories alive.
I really like that. I feel like, my family and I, we had, when we go on vacation, we make like a whole little album for like our trip and put stickers and like everything. It was so cute. I feel like people don't really do that much anymore.
No, they don't, but it's really fun.
Everyone go back on that. Like, go back on that hobby right now.
We need a TikTok trend of people making scrapbooks.
Exactly. And I feel like, like people are honestly like, physical media needs to be back. Like, I know a lot of people are getting back into physical media, but it should be more of a thing. Like,
I like a good book. I don't like e-textbooks.
I hate reading on my phone. Like, I can't. I don't know how people do it.
I honestly, I feel I would go blind if I was in law school reading as many pages as I do. I'm reading 300 to 400 pages a week. Like, think about it. I have around 2 to 3 classes every day. For every class, I have an assigned reading of 30 to 40 pages with notes and stuff like that. If they were all e-textbooks,
no, your eyes would be fried. Like,
exactly. And I think there is like a certain beauty to having the written word in front of you. The smell of a good book is great.
Like highlighting, annotating, like, I love that.
But the smell of like a book is that's like a very particular thing of mine. But just having it, my dad used to joke that I just like to have a bunch of books around because I basically have a library in my room. And it's nice to have the written word with you. And then that will never be deleted. You can never undownload it. You'll never run out of storage space. It'll never glitch out.
Yeah, like you'll never have any problems with that. I feel like, especially recently, like the other day I went to a record store with my dad, and he was surprised there were so many people in there, like young people. And
Vinyl's
I'm like,
made a comeback.
yeah, I'm like, Dad, I hope you know everyone loves physical media. Like it's just awesome. Like,
yeah, I think there's also a value to it too. Like part of what I did with the pictures was with the intent of like, this is not on my phone, this is not on my tablet. And if I do it in this way, it's less likely to be lost.
Of course.
So when we don't digitize things right away, or when we don't become fully dependent on physical media, those are things that are tangible, that we can pass down, and those are lasting and accessible memories for the future. It's almost like a time capsule that you can continue to keep, and that's why it's so important. I think to me, to not be super technology dependent.
I agree.
I write notes by hand. I keep books. I keep physical photos. I print out photos that are important to me. I don't like to use much AI. I'm not a big fan.
I know for this job they want me to use AI a little bit, but I'm really not a big fan.
A little bit is fine.
Yeah.
A little bit is fine.
But I'm just like, I'm very much not a fan, and like it has a lot of effects, like mentally, environmentally, but it's like
ChatGPT is a wonderful catalyst for ideas. But we need to be wary of becoming over-dependent on technology.
Of course.
My dad used to say it all the time, like the way that technology is set up now, if we were to have some type of incident where like a satellite was taken out,
it's terrible.
It would literally shut down our society. Back in the day, you could have like an old hand radio, an old hand crank radio, and that would work with like radio frequencies that were already pre-existent. So they weren't dependent on like this large global network satellite. And you've seen it in when big companies have like major hacks and stuff like that, like you see how fragile our system really is. And there was even that movie like Leave the World Behind. Where it's fictionalized, it's highly dramatized too, but it's
somewhat realistic.
It's realistic in the sense that if there was to ever be an incident that would affect our global satellite system, then there would be mass chaos because of how dependent we are on those things. And we need to get back to the fundamentals, because we once survived without all of this just fine. In the 50s, we survived without all of that just fine. And the 40s and the 20s and the 1800s and so on and so forth. So for as much as technology is helpful, I think that we need to be mindful in the way that we expand and become dependent on it, because we need to be able to live without it should there ever be some type of incident.
Yeah, I feel like in a lot of my classes, because it's so like media based, we had like a lot of discussion posts kind of like on topics like that. And I made a point that it's like, if my phone wasn't working, I couldn't go out somewhere and pay for parking. Like, you can't even pay for parking without a phone nowadays. Like, it's kind of crazy.
And it's a detriment to older people and to the disabled.
Exactly.
My grandmother has a doctor. I forget which one of them it is, but she has a doctor where they have to all sign in on a tablet. And this particular physician, most of his clients are elderly people.
Yeah.
None of those elderly people know how to sign in on that tablet.
I don't know how, like, they expect people to function like that. Like,
the disabled, like most of them they can't really function or answer the questions in that way. Some of them, thank God, have that capability, but many of them don't. If they don't have a caretaker that's willing to do that in that way, it really just depends. And so you inhibit a lot of people from doing that. Or God forbid, what if I just forgot my phone at home?
Yeah, like,
how am I gonna pay for parking? I
can't pay for parking. Maybe I don't even know where I'm going because I don't have the map. Like, I can't. Maybe I'm meeting up with my friends.
Most people
don't know where they are.
Can't even read a map.
Yeah, like maybe you can't even pay for your meal because your card is on your phone.
Some places
like,
only take card.
It's crazy. Like,
a lot of my friends only have their cards on their digital wallet.
Yeah. One time I went to dinner with my friend, and she's like, "Okay, I'm going to treat you out to dinner," and then she only had her card on her phone, and they didn't have that. So we were like. Luckily, he was super nice, and he let us like leave, get our card, come back. But like, that happens probably every day, stuff like that.
And even places, and like you see that cash is getting faded out.
Yeah, I don't understand how some places don't take cash at all.
It's crazy to me.
Like,
and you see places that traditionally were cash only being forced to have credit cards. So Casolas, you know where Casolas is. You went to Lourdes. So right there by Coconut Grove, for years and years and years, only accepted cash. No credit cards at Casolas, which could be an inconvenience, I won't lie. But recently, they began, I want to say like a year and a half ago, more or less. I know it was around the time where like Manolo Reyes was up for re-election before he passed. Fantastic politician, great public servant. But that's besides the point. We went after to eat pizza at Casola's after knocking doors, and they were accepting credit cards. And I think that was like about a year and a half ago.
Wow.
And so you see like this huge shift where like you have to have a credit card.
Yeah.
You have to have Apple Pay. I've seen places that only take Apple Pay.
Yeah, I know. It's just crazy. Like, you have to like keep up with things so much.
It's kind of absurd to me that we're getting to a point where our own currency is becoming almost obsolete.
Yeah.
And so what is the value of cash when everyone's using their wallet?
I know, yeah.
Or are we soon gonna, you know...
And it was scary, yeah, with all the, why am I forgetting what they're called? But like all the like digital money that's like not real money.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Bitcoin,
ETFs,
everything.
all
Like,
that type of thing.
Yeah, NFTs, like that was like so weird. And then it was a big thing, and then they low-key like lost their value. Like it didn't really pick up. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like,
well, because the thing with Bitcoin is that it operates similarly to like a stock. It can go up and down.
Yeah.
And so it can, and the dollar, to the credit of all the Bitcoin people, also goes up and down, and so does all currency. But there is things that back it up that are a bit different. It's not necessarily just the backing of a bunch of people that decided to invest in it and sell and up and down and the fluctuations of that market. There is a certain stability to a physical currency, and you have to think about the consequences of fully digitizing everything. Yeah. Like, imagine if, you know, if one day all of your transactions were public, would you be cool with your boss knowing all the times that you bought Starbucks way too, or all the crazy stuff that you ordered off of Amazon when you were bored? And those are silly examples, but it speaks to the idea of like moving towards a society where everything is taken and accounted for. And you might say, well, I don't do anything bad. But you might also, to the contrary, say, you don't do anything bad, but if that's the case, why do they need to know? Yeah.
It's also just like a very big privacy thing. Like, I don't like, and I'm thinking that when you said it, I was like, I mean, I don't really care if people see what I buy, but it's also kind of just like, why would they need to know? Like,
you also have to think about the context of things, right? Where it's like, think about Cuba, think about governments like Cuba, like North Korea, like China. China has one central platform for everything. I think it's called WeChat. And I think so. And so they have, everything's on there. So you can't buy plane tickets unless you use that app. Your banking is on that app. You can't rent unless you have that app. You can't go on social media without that app. And so everything is monitored and exchanged for a purpose. And you might say, well, you know, I don't care if they monitor me because I'm not doing anything bad. But what happens when you have a government like the Chinese government or the Cuban government, where things that are not bad to normal people are now bad because it's not convenient for them?
Of course.
Bad and good are subjective concepts. So bad and good is whatever is convenient to the government in power at the time. And you never want to be in a position where someone who does not have the best intentions has control over what you do to that extent.
No, of course. I know we're almost done on time. Is there kind of anything you kind of wanted to touch on, mention, like kind of a good conversation? Like, like I've learned a lot.
I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Of course.
It was nice to have sort of like this more one-on-one conversation with somebody who's also in the same place, right? Because it's hard. It's hard being a young professional. It's hard making your way through. It's hard earning respect and credibility.
Of course.
But the important thing to know is that you will have respect. Like, and not just you, but I'm talking you, the
everyone.
You will have respect. If you work hard enough, you will have respect. You will create a reputation for yourself. You will earn your way into the world. Yeah. And it's all just a matter of having that confidence in yourself. And even when people say outlandish, and I do mean outlandish things to you, that you just keep your head down and you keep grinding and you keep working and you tell yourself, forget about all of them. I know I'm going to be successful. Even if you don't believe it, I know I'm going to be successful.
You got to gaslight yourself.
You have to gaslight yourself into doing something positive. And when you do that, you will be successful and you'll make your way. And then eventually, te van a decir usted. All right.
I feel like we could talk so long about anything ever. Like, I'm learning so much today. Like, wow.
No, I had a lot of fun.
And I didn't even like talk about the women's like that you're part of and everything.
For another episode.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, how short? Oh yeah, we're out of time.
We're definitely done. But we can look at this camera. Well, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for listening. This is Everything with Emilie. Talk about everything. whatever you guys want to hear. Thank you, Miami Community News, for letting me host my own show. Thank you, Josie, for coming on and teaching me many things. Talking about what you're interested in is very important for people to like have an outlet for this.
No, thanks, Emilie. It was super amazing to be on the show today and just talk about all things that matter to people like us.
All the things that matter to you, to everyone.
Thank you to you for the invite, and thank you to Community News for hosting me again. Love you guys over here, and I really hope that everyone watching enjoyed the show. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.